Whether you're going to Big Bear to visit the great outdoors or to simply make some snowy memories with the family, we got just the place for you. Today we'll give you a tour of Worldmark Big Bear along with some fun ideas of things to do during your visit. And if you're new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this.
How's it going, everyone? It's Khalil, and we're going to go ahead and talk about the room. First of all, we got a studio because we made a last minute business decision to go up to Big Bear, and that's all they had left. Anyways, once you walk into the studio, there's a closet and then the washer and dryer on the left. There's a nice little dining table for 2 people on a side door, which we'll talk about later. This unit had a counter space / bar table with a couple of bar stools. This kitchen has a fridge, dishwasher, 2-burner stove, microwave, and sink. From the kitchen, it goes straight into the living room. There is a sofa, a chair, the TV, and a wall heater. This unit does not have AC, however, it does have centralized heat and also that wall heater. Behind these doors is the Murphy bed that we slept on. It just pulls down, very comfortable, very spacious, and super easy to put away once you're done. Here's an extremely long video of me pulling it down, admiring it, and flashing a good old thumbs up. Yeah, there we go. This is what the unit looked like after the bed is taken down. There's still a good amount of room in here. Remember that side door we talked about earlier? Here it is. Beyond the door, there is a patio with 2 chairs and a grill. It was very interesting because every unit had one of these, whether it was an upstairs unit or a downstairs unit. There was a spot to either go out into your patio or your porch and grill. The awesome part is that every unit had a grill, so you didn't have to share it with anybody. You didn't have to wait for anybody to get off of it. You could go in and just cook. So here we are getting a closer look at this kitchen. I know I mentioned the stove and the dishwasher and the sink earlier, but the underrated part of this whole kitchen was the counter space. And also, look how deep that sink is. This fridge had a lot of room in it too, which is awesome. The cool thing about this fridge is the ice box actually had a functioning ice maker, which Jen definitely loved and clearly approved of. Look at that thumbs up. There it is. As she turns around, you'll see that there is more counter space, but not only that, there's cabinets underneath the counters. Super convenient considering the amount of things that we brought with us to eat. And as per usual, the Worldmark special with the plates and the bowls and the cups and the knives and the forks and the napkins and all the other good stuff. As we walk back down the hallway facing the front door, walking past the washer and dryer, to our left is the bathroom. It was a very big bathroom, very modern, nice, ample amount of counter space. Look at my wife. Big mirror, big tub, clean toilet, everything you want in a bathroom. Here it is. Also, the centralized heat kept the bathroom warm. Loved it. Let's circle back and take a look at that closet. The closet had a fan, a vacuum, and extra blankets just in case you got a little cold. But in all honesty, it was tough to get a little cold with that centralized heat and that wall heater putting in work. I mean, look at this thing. It low-key made me want one. Anyways, here's the outside of the unit. It was attached to a bigger building. They were definitely going for a mountain wintry cabin aesthetic and nailed it. With all that being said, that was the room tour. Enjoy the rest of the video.
So let's go ahead and talk about the amenities along with some of the special things that the property had to offer. So one of the super cool things about this property was that they actually offered free s'mores kits daily. They were given on a first come first served basis. However, there was plenty of kits to go around. We also ended up buying our own s'more stuff so we could make extra. They had this fire pit outside of the recreation center where you could roast your s'mores, and it definitely became a nightly activity for us during our stay. Here's a list of the other activities they had, which we'll go over in a minute, but here is their recreation center in the night and in the day. Hello. And just when we thought Indio had a huge arcade, boy, were we in for a surprise. If you haven't seen our Worldmark Indio tour, make sure to watch that video next. So just like other locations, you needed a prepaid card to play the arcade games. However, there were plenty of free table games, which included a foosball table and this game. Comment down below if you know what this is called, because we honestly didn't. And unfortunately, because I rolled my ankle on the very first day of our trip, right before a hike, we actually spent a good amount of time here, and it still made for a great bonding time. Since it was about 30 degrees when we came, it was also a fun area to hang out on the property and keep warm. It was so nice to see so many families taking advantage of the center, and they also had these cute little bear chairs that made for a great photo op. I could definitely see my whole family taking a goofy picture here, but for now you just have me and Chloe. This TV usually displayed a live stream of wildlife or a neighboring town like Mammoth, and my favorite part of the center was actually this cute living room area that was tucked in the back, making it a perfect place for book lovers, or hey, if you need a place to stay for some tea and chismes, that could work too. Inside the rec center, they also had the water refill station along with a very small gym. However, not a lot of people are usually there anyway because, let's be real, it's Big Bear. I mean, go on a hike. But whatever. Hey, if you want to get your gains, there is a little gym here. And here's the outdoor side of the rec center. So there is the fire pit that we use to roast the s'mores, along with a ping pong table on the opposite end. And because it was like 30 degrees while we were here, I'm assuming they closed the pools during the winter time. So the pools were closed. However, there are 3 different hot tubs throughout the property, and I believe they were open until about 10 p.m. Here is the main office for the front desk, directly across from the recreation center. Here is the inside of the main office. This is also where you'll go in order to get these s'mores kits, and here is also their mini market, which is also self-serve. And another unique thing that they had about this property is that they offered a scavenger hunt, which was really fun, that me and my husband did. So you look for these little mini bears, and I'm not going to give them all away in this video. However, once you find all of them, you go back to the office and they give you these little bear treats. And aside from a little play set for the little ones, they also had a basketball court along with 4 pickleball courts. These ones are like really nice, honestly. Like, they were really updated, so I thought that was really cool. And they also had a cornhole set. And my favorite area was actually this little area that overlooked the pickleball area. So it was just like a really peaceful area that you could just kind of sit and hang out. I actually did my devotional time here, so it was just really peaceful. And lastly, this was actually our biggest hack for this property, but it was the private access to the shopping center right down this hill through the back of the property. We were literally walking distance to Stater Bros and other food places, so it was really helpful for groceries, and we got to get our extra steps in. The only thing is that you don't have access for cars, so you do have to walk. Overall, we love this location, and if you have any recommendations for Big Bear, make sure to drop them in the comments below.